Hey,
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good
we're
morning.
back. We're back. Well, I'm back.
A, a bit of a later session, but that's okay. We're back to normal.
Yes,
Back to normal programming.
normal programming moving forward. Alrighty. You. Welcome to
And we
More
are off.
Minutes. My name is Michael Bergio, and we've got Mark Novak online
Hello.
this morning.
Yes.
Hello, and this morning we're going to be talking about customer reviews, platforms reviews, like are they useful, are they crap,
It's a
and
changing
just
world.
little hacks and just a little bit about them as well. So, Mark, what are we referring to a review platform? What's out there? Who are they?
Well, you know what? It's really funny. Like with the best examples like taxis, right? So if taxis, the service was not as polished as it is today for taxis, and if you had a bad taxi ride, no one wanted to listen to you. And if you got ripped with cab charge because they charged you a lot when you paid, I think they used to pay 10% more on your credit card if you wanted to pay by credit card. And it was just all that sort of stuff. And it's really interesting now that there's someone like Uber who comes out, allows reviewing they do a couple of things. One, they're a review platform for drivers and for riders. And then two, they're obviously using location services to benefit from that as well. So they're connecting people. So what's interesting with us is how that's going to be changing our industry now, like a bit of a fireball.
Yep. G'day, Todd, for joining. Todd, Belinda's on. Nikki, thank you. And I think, Mark, reviews, they're quite, I think the momentum and importance of reviews has probably only really ticked off in the last 24 months, I would say, in my opinion. However, in other markets, like let's say food industry, reviews have been like the backbone of that industry for a very long time. And there's a lot of people out there who make huge money. There's shows about basically just reviews. But for real estate, it probably wasn't as, as from an agent point of view, as we didn't request it as much or hold it as important. And from a consumer they were pretty okay with not having it, but not so much anymore. And the big review systems, Ray's asked which one to use. We're talking about like Rate My Agent, RAT, and hang on one sec. I'm doing a conference. I think Mac's upstairs. Hang on one sec. Mac! You want to take it away, Mark? Talk.
Yep. So look, a big one, Rate My Agent's probably the biggest one out there at the moment, guys. So it's interesting because 3 years ago, Rate My Agent was absolutely nowhere. So Rate My Agent was, what didn't even really exist. And we went to the awards night the other night, full room of real estate agents, huge interest in the marketplace. They're now going out to America wide, where you can rate your real estate agents selling services. So they're, it's like a fireball going through the real estate industry. And what's really interesting is tenants can't rate real estate agents, and landlords can't rate their tenants. So I think that's going to be it's a very, very sensitive topic. Obviously, that's why Rate My Agent hasn't attacked it and hasn't executed it. They're wondering how to tackle it by, at the ankles. But it's going to be an interesting one, seeing agents getting rated by tenants now, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think the more, like everything, I think the more transparency we have is so much better for the industry. It's going to weed out the riffraff. Like, let's face it, there's a lot of, as a whole, I know it's definitely on the better now, real estate, but back in the day, it was almost like you were seen as a used car salesman, sleazy, just make up any like lies. And with technology, we're seeing a lot more transparency because a buyer has access to everything. Like if you say they come to your open home and you say it's just come on the market, but realestate.com will tell them it's been on the market for 6 months and what it was listed for and RP data. And through all this technology, it's becoming more and more transparent. And now, so with the reviews as well. And I reckon that would be phenomenal when tenants can be rated and landlords, because you saw how big Uber took off by offering that sort of transparency where the driver was. Like, I think the biggest thing with Uber was you knew who was picking you up. And basically when that had that transparency, obviously the taxi industry never wanted to disclose that for whatever reason. They just never did. And also the reviews and the bars. So I'm definitely all for it. I want it to be more. Which one would you use? But I think probably Rate My Agent has probably got the most momentum because they were really first to market.
I think they're gonna attack it completely with tenants. But you know what? Look, at the end of the day, guys, reviewing's always been there. It used to be done by word of mouth.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, it's always been there. But this is almost like real-time reviewing to the second reviewing. Thousands of people, or almost everyone's review. So if you look at the way Uber's attacked the market, reviewing's always been there. But this is now real time. As the minute a person gets out of a car, they are being reviewed by the taxi driver, and you are reviewing the Uber driver. Real time, straight away. Now, if you're a consumer using Uber, you cannot use the app again until you've reviewed that driver. Right? If you're a driver, you cannot pick up the next person unless you've reviewed the rider. So they've gone from
Kevin Morris from South Florida.
Hey, Kevin.
South Florida.
I love Florida.
Rate My Agent is coming to you guys in America. So RAT, we'll put the links for the review systems in there. And now, like we've said at Tom Panos, the digital interview is happening before they call you. So then if you're a good agent doing right by people, then you're going to obviously endorse this, because there's nothing better going to the living room. And like, take us, for example, they can go on our social media and see all the videos we're doing at properties, really get a gist of the agent's personality. And they go, I really like you. But they go, well, are you good at what you do? Like, you've got to like them, but they've got to be getting results. So then you can then go to Rate My Agent, for example, and see how many deals they've done and see and how many buyer reviews and seller reviews. I think it's just as important to have buyer reviews as seller reviews, because it's that process. You want if you're good to buyers, it's good to be there. So if you're a vendor and then they've got a lot of seller reviews and no buyer reviews, like it could be, I think they're not going to rule it out, but I think moving forward, it's going to be critical to have both. But at the moment, it's very heavily weighted vendors.
Do you know, I was talking with the lovely Lisa, my wife, about virtual tours and all this technology stuff that we're doing. And all we're basically doing is bringing those emotions closer to us by technology. That's what we're really, really doing. So call it a review platform or call it whatever you like. But at the end of the day, it's bringing your experience that you've had closer to you. So before there was much more barriers, there was much more delay. And now it's like, bang, it happens straight away. Now, I'll give you an idea. We're talking about doing, live videos. And I know we're talking about reviews today, but I'm going to tie it back to technology in a second. We started doing the 360 videos, and then we started doing the live videos, and people embrace the live videos a lot faster than the 360 videos because that was closer to reality. and the review system's the same. You know, that people are, it's closer to reality that you can sort of put your experience online, tell people what your experience was like every single time you have that experience, whether it's a pizza, whether it's a car ride, or whether it's a real estate agent.
Like eBay, Mark. Todd here has said, it's so true. It's like eBay.
Yeah.
We always look at the reviews of the seller, because this is how my wife has created an online business. So super important. Now, how do we go?
eBay is a great example. I think eBay pioneered it.
Example.
I think eBay pioneered it.
Yeah.
From that, like, if you look at how long eBay's been around for, that reciprocal reviewing system, really, I reckon eBay was there before Uber.
Yeah. Good point.
Now we're both clients are reviewing.
Now, then another one that I like to use a lot is more your Facebook reviews, because from my Rate My Agent only does residential as well. So Phone's commercial agent Facebook, and
Michael,
in my view,
you always get left out in commercial, buddy. You always get left out. You poor bloke. Seriously, people are inconsiderate.
We're just like the orphan child.
Yeah. You seem to like it though.
So it's good. And my view is like rate my agent. Besides the review system, I think they're going to be hard, because realestate.com guys is now doing the reviews, probably about maybe 12 months ago, but it just hasn't really caught on like it has with Rate My Agent, which have now merged with Domain. So I think realestate.com missed a big boat there. And I think it was smart of Rate My Agent to merge with Domain, because now I believe they'll stay around. Previously, I was always scratching my head going, they're really not offering anything. Like there's no, you can't buy, like there's no product. It's just the review system, which is obviously huge in itself. But it was like, I think that could be taken away if realestate.com and Domain did that. But now they've merged with Domain, so they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
And realestate.com's playing catch up.
And you know what? Reviewing your services is not going anywhere either. It's
Correct.
Not going anywhere.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it's call it real-time reviewing, or and call it real-time reciprocal reviewing, where everyone's reviewing each other. I think it's just the greatest thing ever. And you know what? I think I'd be pretty intimidated. I think a lot of people are intimidated for industries where it's about to rip through. But you got to allow it to rip through. And two, that's how you've survived in business the last 10, 20 or 30 years anyway, guys. It's called a reputation, and it's called a brand.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just
so
public.
It's now going to be easier for good brands to do better, and bad brands to be not used.
Now, Mark, what do you recommend to agents out there and owners? Because owners, it's going to be hard to really know what to look at, because they've got Facebook, as Ray says, you've got LinkedIn reviews, you've got realestate.com reviews, you've got Rate My Agent reviews, and you've got Domain reviews. And even like the website, you've got 5.
If it's not an important review, it's going to organically die over the next 1 to 3 years, whatever that platform is. And if it's a good organic review that's easy to find, then it's going to prosper. So I think that what we'll find is, if there's 5, there may end up being 2 or 3 really good ones. But yeah, I reckon it'll be really interesting, the future of the review system for real estate.
Yeah, well, I know Facebook's not going anywhere. So I've personally been doing more there, because I think with what success we've had with social media, with selling properties, as like if you follow us here, the million people who follow us here, you've only heard the success Lisa's been having, and on all the platforms and stages on social media. So I think that's imperative to always keep ticking along. What do you reckon, Mark? Do you ignore 4 of them and just do 1 bananas, or because you can't ask a client to review you 5 times, or can you?
I
Like,
know.
what do you
I know.
reckon? What's the etiquette here? What do you tell people? Do you just pick one, or what do you think?
Yeah, look, I would look. I think it's like Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn question. Which one do you use the most? I think you've almost got to blend yourself. You choose what you enjoy the most, and pump that hard, and then second and third your next one. So I reckon with the review systems, it's the same thing with real estate agents and consumers. If you're a consumer, you may find it easy because you don't want to give your information to Rate My Agent, and you're already plugged into Facebook. You may find it easier just to give your real estate agent a review on Facebook. But because it's not just us and what we want, it's what the consumers want as well.
Yeah, and I personally really like their Facebook. I really like where the integrity is there. Well, I think they're all pretty secure, because we'll chat with the lady from Rate My Agent, because Angelo Goutzios from our office won Agent of the Year for DY, which was a phenomenal achievement.
Yes.
So we're hats off to Ange.
Hats off to Ange. And on that, did you know DY is the 5th most transactional suburb in the whole of New South Wales?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's like 480, 550 properties turnover a year in DY.
That's including Chatswood. That's including Sydney
Mascot.
2000, Sydney City. It's including Mascot. It's including Parramatta. It's a very highly transactional suburb. To get number 1 in that suburb, congratulations, Ange.
Yeah, it's huge. And there's 200 agents, or how many's in what did he say, 598? There's a lot of agents trying to be the number 1 in DY because it's highly transactional. So,
yep.
And I like okay, so those systems, just if people are watching going, can the agent do a dodgy one? Like, at the end of the day, with any program or system, people are trying to rot the system. Let's face it. There's those people out there all the time. Now, Rate My Agent, because we were chatting, we were on their desk, and they've got a whole team just making sure every review is authentic and is correct. And if you're caught cheating, you're basically wiped from the site, or what did she say they did? I think they just they just take you off. But I think they could have gone a bit harder, because they still kept the figure, or they did something. I think it's good to hear they've got that whole team out there, because if you're basing one of the largest transactions...
Data integrity team, I think she said.
Yeah, data integrity team. And that's so important, because if you're...
I just made that up.
It sounds good. We'll send it to her. Their data integrity team, without that there, like, if vendors and buyers are choosing the agent based on that information, and a lot of time it's their largest asset, you need to know it's going to be secure. One reason before hearing that, I liked Facebook, because you've got a profile. You can click on their profile, and we all know the difference between a real account and a fake account. So how they track it on Rate My Agent is where your IP is, because anyone can create an email address and then just do it that way. But if the IP is coming from the same location where your office is or where you live, then that's where they track you.
Silly business.
So I think that's super important to be out there and to know that they are doing that. So it is pretty strong. But even when I heard, like, she goes, there were some of the top agents rorting the system, and I was like, fuck, it's not good.
Shit.
It's not good.
But you know what? I think on the reviewing system, guys, and concluding on it, you've got to. It's an exciting world for real estate, particularly for the tenants. I think.
Yes.
Agents are there's, in terms of transactions in our industry, doing deals. It's probably 5 to 1 or 10 to 1 in property management.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That's really, so there's going to be and those reviews are not being reported at the moment. Active tenants even, but I'm talking about tenants leasing a property, the experience they've had, that's going to be great.
Yeah, and I think we're putting someone on basically full time to get that rolling because it is work for an agent, but I can't stress it enough to do it. Get your vendors, get your buyers, get your tenants to do it because we're, as you said, Mark, it may be new-ish in this way we're doing it, but reviews have always been around.
Oh yeah, like you know what? You can imagine you reviewing your bus driver, reviewing your person behind the counter of a bank. It's getting to a stage where there's not going to be much. I think over the next 5 years that you don't review or can't review at all. That's going to be a bloody game changer.
True. All righty, that's the take. Anything else you want to add there, Ray? Soon you'll be number one commercial, 100% Ray. We've been I don't think there's any awards. Real commercial. Yeah, anyway. All righty. Thank you, guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning as well. Also, Mark and myself, we're doing a Thailand trip. So we'll be raising money for homeless children in Thailand. That's going to be in a couple of weeks. So jump on, donate.
This weekend, mate.
$5.
It's this weekend. It's this weekend.
When do we leave? Through what? Thailand?
5th, isn't it? Oh no,
5th,
next weekend.
week. Yeah, 5th. Yeah, shit. Yeah, mid next week. So, wow.
Exciting.
All right,
so
whatever you can, $1, $5, $500. Reviews validate an agent. Thank you, Kevin. Yes. All righty. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow morning. That's the date.
Thanks from our guest from Florida.
Florida.
I love Florida. See you guys.